It honestly just keeps getting bad to worse for Disney's Snow White. I mean, to me, it's hilarious. Why would you even make this film under the sort of pretenses that you have? It didn't make any sense to begin with. Why you hired someone that is effectively a nobody that rose to prominence because she stamped her feet for West Side Story to be at the Oscars. She was like, oh, well, it's been nominated. Why am I not invited? It's like, because you're a nobody, love. You weren't nominated. That's why. And Disney now, inside Disney's Snow White troubles, they need to get this over with. Apparently Disney is just like, God damn, just release this shit film and get on with it. But this is a rod they made for their own back. It's just utter nonsense. It didn't actually have to be this way. This is the thing. Of all the reboots ever, of all the movies ever, this should have been the most milquetoast films that they could possibly have done. Hire a white girl, obviously, Snow White, skin as white as snow, and just make a nice, wholesome film. That's all they had to do, and they couldn't even do that. This is all self-inflicted, completely self-inflicted, and it didn't have to be this way. So funny. So funny. Does Rachel Zegler have a career after this? She better not. She shouldn't. She absolutely shouldn't. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Please do hit subscribe if you are new here. Turn those bell notifications on. And especially if you're a returning viewer that is not yet subscribed. There is about 50% of you, and it really does help the channel out. There's lots of you that keep coming back, so you might as well hit subscribe. Tell YouTube that you do like this content. Thank you in advance. But anyway, let's take a look. So, this is on The Hollywood Reporter. It's not some weird far-right outlet. Nope. It is The Hollywood Reporter. And they're catching up to it. They're reporting stuff that we have reported many, many times over. But it is comical and they have some inside sources. So, Disney's live-action Snow White reboot starring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot seemed like a can't-miss project 5 years ago. No, obviously, it's not. No. With those people starring, it was always going to have a problem. Gal Gadot's fine, right? Dumb that she's the evil witch, because obviously she's not ugly, clearly. They should have hired someone that was actually uglier than Snow White, clearly. But no, it's not. It wasn't going to be a can't-miss project. When you hired a goddamn Latina for the role of Snow White. Snow White. White, it's in the name. Of all the projects to do it on, you are so incredibly dim. Now, not only that, what is equally as comical here is that because they've done that, they've had to change the name origin just to suit the fact that they hired a brown person. So dumb. So dumb. Anyway. So, Disney's Snow White won't hit theatres until March 21st. But for the team at the Mouse House, that date can't come soon enough. The female skewing live-action event pick, it's not an event pick, which remakes Walt Disney's cherished 1937 animated classic, has been under fire for years on social media due to a combination of the film's progressive creative decisions and star Rachel Zegler's controversial comments, whilst also suffering from culture war attacks that seem doggedly determined to torpedo the perceived woke film no matter what. It is a woke film. It is a woke film. The fact that you didn't hire a white person, it is woke. That's it. That's the bottom line. Of course it's woke. You're choosing not to say true to the source material? Yeah, it's woke. That's it. It's done. It's woke. As a result, Disney's handling the movie's rollout in some unique ways. In news that broke earlier this week, Disney's taking next-level measures to stage-manage the film's world premiere. That's because they can't risk her opening her goddamn mouth. How pathetic. Self-inflicted. Didn't have to be this way. And that's in LA on March 15th. Whilst the event won't be scaled back, as some headlines claimed, the studio isn't allowing regular red carpet press to attend. That is still scaling back. Are you retarded? Like, obviously that's scaled back. The event is still the same. Like, it's still a world premiere. But you're not allowed interviews? Yeah, that's a scaling back. People are dumb. Anyway, it continues further and says that's in order to prevent Zegler and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, from answering questions on the spot. The studio's position is that they opted for a more celebratory, family-friendly afternoon event to match the tone and target audience for the film. That's clearly just cope. So Snow White isn't the first major film to manage a red carpet in such a restricted way. Warner Brothers did much the same for the world premiere of The Flash. That's because the guy was being accused of being a groomer. That's a horrendous comparison. Mental. So even they say it, starring the embattled Ezra Miller, but Miller had been accused of several criminal acts, whereas Zegler has simply generated social media blowback. Yeah. So it goes to show just how terrified Disney is, doesn't it? Madness. Madness. From criticising the original film to slamming Donald Trump and his supporters, literally says, "May you never know peace." Godot, meanwhile, is a divisive figure on social media due to the Israeli actress speaking out in support of her native country since October 7th. But basically no one cares about that. Only some absolute tard libtards care. No one really cares much about that, seriously. So the film also isn't getting a traditional UK premiere. Instead, Zegler, who won an open casting call to portray Maria in West Side Story, will perform in front of the castle in Segovia, Spain. And that inspired the castle in Walt Disney's original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Even before the LA premiere news, however, there was a sense that Disney was being a bit bashful about Snow White. One theatre owner and a rival studio source says Disney's massive marketing machine has been uncharacteristically quiet until quite recently. Yeah, I know. No, obviously, this was going to happen. I mean, yeah. Noting advanced ticket sales didn't commence until Monday, less than 2 weeks before the film's release. Many of the studio's live-action family tentpoles in recent years have typically become available to book at least 1 month before the film opens, which, again, just goes to show how they're terrified of this film. So, yeah, not really a massive surprise. Snow White, however, is a spring title coming out during a particularly quiet year, meaning it has little competition of rival films for girls and older females. Yeah, no one's going to care anyway. They've been going through the motions on Snow White, all but saying, we need to get this thing over with. An exhibition source tells THR. An advanced sales cycle of less than 2 weeks just screams, we have zero faith in this thing. And it couldn't come at a worse point when the industry is just trying to limp along to May. Disney insiders dispute this narrative. They would, but they just cope. Saying that they always intended to hold back the film's promotional push until the final few weeks, beginning when Zegler and Godot presented together at the Oscars on March 2nd. That's cope. There are now billboards popping up over LA, and the film stars have also been doing long and short lead interviews, culminating with a junket this coming weekend with director Mark Webb. Many of the press appearances so far have been for outlets that one might perceive as rather safe. There you go. Again, comical. Zegler, meanwhile, was dispatched with Webb to Tokyo, where she performed Waiting on a Wish, the first single from Walt Disney Records' original soundtrack for the film. She was joined by Japanese actress and singer Sakura Kiryu, who provides the voice of Snow White in the Japanese version. The 23-year-old actress will fly back to the States for LA premiere following the stunt in Spain. Ironically, the film's tracking rather nicely. No, it's not. $50 million with a $300+ million budget? You're mental. Shut up. Obviously, that's not tracking well. That's terrible. That is absolutely awful. I'm not going to read that cope. Yeah, they're like, oh, Snow White came under fire in an ugly fashion almost immediately after casting Zegler, who's of Colombian descent, for playing a character with skin famously as white as snow. Yeah, there you go. There were also erroneous reports regarding the Seven Dwarfs from the outset. Webb intended for them to be CGI characters based on the 1937 film. That's still dumb. Yeah. She suggested she didn't like the original. There you go. And then it says, may Trump supporters never know peace. Not exactly smart, is it? And then basically said that they're sick. There's a deep sickness in the country. This person is just an absolute, like, PR retard. I don't have much else to say. It's just mental, isn't it? The cope from The Hollywood Reporter is just insane. But it is comical that they're like, yeah, we just want to get this over with. Like, just get it done. Just get it done. We've got zero faith in this. Yeah, they don't. They don't have any faith in it. Of course they don't. Would you? If this was your film? I mean, if it was your film, you wouldn't have hired Rachel Zegler. But never mind. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.